Hello Internet, it's Sunny. Welcome to my channel. I am embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed. The way that Black people have been acting. And I say Black people, and what I really mean is Black people and social justice warriors at Evergreen. Evergreen? Is it? Yeah, it's Evergreen State College. I was simply appalled by the action and words that were spewing out of their mouths. I'm simply speechless, and I shouldn't be, because this keeps happening and it's like a trend, and I shouldn't be surprised, but you know, I am. I'm surprised. And what the guy said, what Professor Weinstein said, or Weinstein, I don't know what he's, I don't know how to pronounce his name right now, because I'm just now finding out about it. You know, for me to have this type of channel, you would think I would be up on this stuff, but I saw the Philip DeFranco show and I saw it and I'm just like, what? Really? So, I saw something on Twitter, but I really didn't see the video about it. I thought, I wasn't aware of the mass scope and viralness, and I just didn't know how big it was, honestly. I just don't understand how people of color, my people, Black people, are wanting segregation. Whether it be for a day, whether it be for a year, it doesn't matter. I don't know why people, especially people of color, are wanting segregation. Why is this a new trend? Why are we wanting separate places? We are all equal, especially in America. I can understand social justice in Africa. I can understand social justice in places where people don't get fair treatment. Like in Chechnya, they are persecuting gays just for being gay. They need social justice. In Africa, where females are getting their genitals mutilated. And, you know, in other Islamic countries where, you know, women are treated as less than equal, they need social justice. Here in America, you have all the advantages, all of the opportunity, and vast flexibility to make yourself successful. At this time, we do not need social justice. Social justice should be just sprinkles, you know, like a drizzle in certain places. And you know, in the place that you think you need social justice, sometimes it's not even warranted because he or she is justified in what they did. Yes, granted, there are some times where, you know, cops did the wrong thing, or professors did the wrong thing, or whoever did the wrong thing. But they are not as often and as problematic, which I don't like that word, but it's not happening as much when it comes to other countries like Afghanistan or Iran or Russia, or, you know, any third world country. Because there, if you're born poor, you probably will be poor the rest of your life. They don't have flexibility and mobility when it comes to wages and wealth. I'm just really appalled by the actions of the students at Evergreen State College. It is really eye-opening that someone who wants equality, you are going against it. And I'm just like, you know, in my last video I said Martin Luther King is rolling in his grave. This is killing King's dream. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King, wanted everyone equal. He wanted everyone to be together. I just don't know how to put it more plainly, because, you know, as far as, let me just read the last part of his speech, the most famous part of his I Have a Dream speech.
When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
So a lot of people tend to miss the part where Martin Luther King was a reverend and not just a doctor. He was a reverend, and that's why he has such charisma on this, when he gave his speeches and he demanded everyone's attention, because he had that preacher, his blood in him. And this is okay, because it says black men and white men. Whenever people wanted to march for civil rights back in the 50s and 60s, Martin Luther King didn't turn anyone away who was white, because, that's cool and all, but you don't really know our struggle. You don't know what it's like to be black in the civil rights era, or whatever they said back then. They didn't say that. They fought alongside with them, and they marched alongside with them. In essence, if you're turning white people away, you're turning away people who will fight for you in this fight for social justice that you think you need. How is that productive? How would you think back then if you were to say, no white person who wants to fight for civil rights, we don't want you? Do you think they would be for our cause? You would turn them racist, or you would turn them away from your fight. They wouldn't want to fight with you. I had to sneeze. Okay. You're shooting yourselves in the foot, and not only in the foot, you're shooting yourself in the other foot, in your hands, and you're working your way up to vital organs. You're killing your cause. So if you keep this up and keep making yourself look stupid, then no one's going to fight for you. You're going to be your own little group, and eventually it will not become popular to be a social justice warrior, and you will die away, which I'm hoping that will happen very soon. Black people, especially college-age black students, and anyone who agrees or is rooting on for these stupid students at Evergreen State College, use your brain, get it together. Because in the real world, there are no safe spaces. When you have a project due by next Friday, and the boss says, you know what, you're working real hard, you don't have to work with Becky and Susan, you can just work by yourself, turn it in whenever you're ready. It's not going to happen. And that's never going to happen. You're going to get a rude awakening when you get into the real world. And it's not like your cushy college education experience where you had safe spaces and, segregated, rallies or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I know eventually you're all going to grow up and cringe at your past selves, but it's better to do it now than later, so that way you can be more prepared for the real world. And, as long, I know that, the social justice movement wants the real world to be like their world, but it's not going to happen. You need to grow up. And you need to get serious. This is silly. Nothing about your movement is serious. I'm just really disappointed, and I'm embarrassed. I don't want to be associated with whiny, liberal college students that think that they are owed the world. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Have a good day. I'll go do the same.